Welcome. We're taking a look at the Mackie EM-91C microphone. This is the USB version of the Mackie. I have owned both. I've owned the XLR version, also this USB version, and they sound identical. So if you want to buy one or the other, I think the USB version is maybe easier to deal with because it's just USB and you don't have to have any sort of outboard sound card to run the microphone. Also, the price is very good at the moment, I see, on Amazon for this microphone. I owned the XLR version before. I had it for about a year and I sold it. And 3 or 4 years later, I decided to buy it again. The reason I like this microphone is because it does have a very warm tone and a very dark tone to it, so that the high end is not so wispy as many of the cheaper microphones sound like these days. That is just not there. So when I go into post and I decide to cut off and give it a bit of a high, I guess you'd call it a low cut, and I cut off some of the low frequencies below around 100 or 110 hertz, around in there, I still don't end up with that wispy tone at the high end. So I can add a little bit, maybe a little compression, I can cut those lows out, and it still sounds okay. So even though it's a dark mic, when you do a little work like that, say on a teaching video, for example, like I do, it's nice not having to de-ess. It's nice not having to remove all of those sounds that some of us, like myself, make with our voices. So that's really a good deal with this microphone. Otherwise, just to let you know, I don't prefer to use this for Zoom, and the reason is because of that darker sound. Zoom, the algorithm in Zoom seems to try to compensate too much for the low end, and your mic ends up quieter than maybe you would want it to be compared to others around you. If you can trim that low end out with a filter, then yeah, you'll be okay. But I find that other microphones, for example, I have another inexpensive USB microphone. It seems to do better in Zoom. But I do like the way this works for teaching videos. Now, I don't have any treatment in this room, really. This is about I think it was like a 10-foot by 15 or 16-foot flat-walled room with, you can see sheetrock behind me. And on the sides, there's a big window over here. So the sound is echoing around pretty well. If you add a little treatment, you can clean up the sound a bit. But this microphone overall does a pretty good job of rejecting compared to other condenser-style mics, although it's certainly not a dynamic mic in that sense. But it does pretty well. Anyway, this is a pretty good deal for a mic, I think. If you're someone who wants to do teaching videos and just plug in and have USB, it's nice. It comes with this this basket for holding it, this shock mount. It does not have the thread adapter, which is kind of strange. It's one of the few mics that doesn't have that thread adapter. But I find I can throw it on a cheap boom arm like this, and it fits right in there. And I like that I can just, boom it up and move it in front of my face when I want and push it out of the way when I don't. Anyway, so it's a pretty good microphone, and it's a good value for the price. And that is the Mackie EM-91C.